All right. Can anybody hear me? Is anybody out there? The kingdom of heaven is upon you. The kingdom of heaven is upon you. The Lord has come, and he is coming. His footsteps thunder in the garden, as in the beginning. Those of you who are shamed and naked, find a bush, hide and cover, run. For the one who needs no weapon or branding shares the iron of his mouth. The vibrating word and tone of his sacrifice has come, and he comes for you. All who stand against him will perish and be seen falling, but all who stand with him will rejoice in his returning. I have seen the kingdom, I have seen the Father, I have seen the Son, I have received the Spirit, and I know of his name. It is you who he has come to conquer and to save. Rejoice, fellow believers, for he loves you. He knows your name, and he has settled your dispute. Your debt is no longer your own, but is shared with the sanctuary of my King. I have seen the pillars of creation. I have lived in the sanctuary of his home. I have gone to the house of the Father, and I have met with him, and he has told me, come back and share my love with them. Hello. It is you who he's come for. You who he has turned to and said, seek my face, son. Do not do what they had done to me in Jerusalem. Do not murder me and call me a prayer against myself. Love me as I have loved you. The Father has given everything like a wellspring of life, and we say that he is the robber and the thief, that he has committed the murder and the treason. We go against him and commit blame to him where it is only our own hands that share blood. He came giving, healing, and giving of mercies, and we whipped him to the point of unrecognizable humility. And it is in that weakness his power was shown. As you beat those who are less helpless than you, more helpless than you, you have given yourself disgrace before the face of my Father. But it is in this moment that you could turn from your sin and abolish yourself of insecurity. You no longer have to be the man who hides from bullets, but stands in front of them boldly, saying, I will go home and return to my King who brings life to even the dead. Did you not know that you were dead? That in the flood of Noah you too have died and shared in its grief? That you are a floating corpse atop the waters of the beginning? It was you who rejected Noah in the ark. It was you who said, no, that crazy man in the desert can build his boat. We will rejoice in our marriages and in our feasts. But the Lord has given you hope, and he has come with a lifeboat, bore on a cross and in the body of a man. The Word, the very thing that holds this whole thing together. You call it vibration, you call it tone or frequency, but the very ground that holds your feet and holds the seat that your ass lay upon, the seat itself, your ass itself, is created by the reverberating word of the Lord. How is it a book that's 2,000 years old can tell you the truth before scientists can fully comprehend it? He was the embodiment of creation. Through him all things are made. The Word that is God, that was within God. Do not tell me that you can look in an atom and its reverberations, its vibrations, and not see the truth at hand. It is through the atheist's own science, through the atheist's own belief that they have proven God to themselves. But they believe in a God that is imaginary, and they place that God upon me. They say, God, the imaginary daddy who lives in the sky. I say to you, no. Because Jesus came with the truth, and it is the arrogant who disqualifies this truth by saying words of their own making. They say that heaven is in the sky. Jesus said, if heaven was in the sky, then the birds would sooner inherit the kingdom of heaven. I say to you that the kingdom of heaven is within you and around you. Find your Father, seek his face. Embrace in the love that I have gathered from him. He has shown to me that he is the only way, that he is the willful law, that with him I can inherit not only the kingdom of heaven but eternity. I do not come to you as a man who just merely read a book, but a man who has witnessed the dignity of my King and the serenity of heaven. I have seen it. I know it. And I wish to turn your heart back to the Father so you can know what I know, so you can see what I see. Because I believe. Not only do I believe, but I know, and I rejoice in my knowing. I rejoice in my growth in my relationship with the Father who sent me. Is it not you that he put in my pathway with such loving care? Is it not you who I will give anything to? I will defend myself only in the way of the honor of my Father, but he calls me not to. You can end my life, but it will never stop the word of his gospel. Every world will perish. Everything will die, but his word will last forever. I've seen the pillars of kingdom. I have met with angels. What? You don't speak English? Mikasa, heaven. Sukasa, heaven. Yahweh. Jesus Christ, Jesus. The one and only. Uno. The grande. I don't. His name is above all names. And he loves you, no matter your language. For people from every tongue and every nation will bow and confess. I have come to fish the pond which no man fishes. It's you he wishes to reach. So I've come with a pole and a net. Let it be known that my King will come. That who I have met does not lie, but is always true. The God above all nations, who laid down all of his power to live for you. That's okay. That's okay. I'm not coming back for you to harm you or go to war. Kill me 100 times. I am with you. I am a voice in the wilderness, saying, make clear the way. Make straight the path, for the Lord will come. He will make the waters. What's that? Hello? I've seen the Lord and I have seen his promises. I've gone into the courts of judgment. He has burned away what was unclean in me. He has forgiven me of my transgressions, and he wishes to do so to you. I will come bearing witness and bearing marks, with many scrapes and many scars, and I allow myself before you to be convicted of this. For if I was a prisoner of the Lord, happier that than a king of a kingdom of shit and vile natures. I will not go to the kingdom of darkness and rule in a place that will be yet to burn. I have seen the place of weeping and gnashing of teeth, of many peoples who suffer, and of their suffrage I mourn. It is of you, my brothers and sisters, whoever may hear me, as a voice calling out in a wild, covered by trees and brush, that I come to you declaring hope of his nature and his recourse. He can't help but love you no matter what you have done, for it is only the grievous sin of saying no to the Holy Spirit that you can be unforgiven. For even the atheist will enter the kingdom in judgment and be given declaration of the law, and he too could be saved It is not for any man, including myself or a worshiper of Jesus Christ or follower, who can look at you and condemn you. There is no man who has not committed sin. Sir? I become a wanderer of a world that is non-existent, to preach to the people who are existent. For even if you are his enemy, he has looked upon you and said, with my divine love, I will grant you the way of life, and in hopes that you will turn from your wickedness and turn back to me. You too can breathe these airs and drink of these waters. I will refine you in my fire, and you will come out great. It is only through unholiness and unrighteousness that we cannot be saved. It is through judgment of others, hatred of others, through the spreading of evil and darkness in the works of the light of the Lord, that we cannot be saved. We will be condemned by our own ways, on our own rules, by our own burdens that we place upon others, that if we look upon our brothers and sisters and say no, then we too will be shown the answer to be no. Jesus Christ said, the Lord does not judge or condemn, but he has given all judgment and condemnation to the Son. And the Son kneeled down in the street with the one who was supposed to be stoned and said, I do not condemn you. The Lord my God held the law to its final T, and he is the only one who is able to save us. He was the unblemished Lamb, who because of our own iniquities, we hurt him. A man who only ever gave, whose legend and story, and true to my heart, as true as it is, we only know of a man who showed love and mercy. We only know of a man who came with the only desire to hang on that cross. And I do not understand why we are afflicted with the unnecessary behaviors of mocking such a man, who would come in your name and in your place, and instead of dying the death that we deserve, took it for us. By the end of his beatings, he was unrecognizable as a human being. And then they asked him, carry this cross. How can we look at a king so valuable and so pure and say, no, I would rather my own way. No, I will define what good and evil is. No, I will live by the law of my own lands or my own heart. Yet we do not even do that. We set these good and evil laws, and yet we still sin against ourselves. Who is it for a man to set a law that he himself will not carry? How then can we say that we are justified to say what is good and evil if we then cannot even follow our own definition of it? At least in this way, at least in the belief of Jesus Christ, we can take his good and evil standards and say, thank you for forgiving me for not being able to uphold it. But who can be forgiven by setting their own standard of good and evil and not living by it? That is a tortured soul. That is someone condemned to the sin of hell. That is a man who cannot rise on his own or sleep on his own. He will be condemned to wickedness not by anybody but himself. How can a man prosper in a wilderness without the one who made the waters to prosper the soil that birthed the seed? I am not a man who is blind in a kingdom of the evil one, but a man who is awakened in the kingdom of the evil one, brought into the house of my Father so I may know the light. I have been brought to you to tell you a simple truth, that the Lord my God will make green every pasture, that he will feed and supply all who are hungry, and he will give water to all those who thirst, so that they may never thirst again. For there is a wellspring at hand. There is an offer of great grace, to which all he asks for is faith and gratitude. And yet we spit at his feet. We rip up his book. We rip up his word and think that is the final say. But I tell you, the one who has placed structure in order will be the one to bring structure in order. He will bring justice into the unjust. He will bring righteousness to the hearts of the unrighteous. He will bring the decree of his lawful kingdom to those of the hearts of the wicked and the kingdom of the wicked. It is because of my King that I have not died by the burden of my own sin. And he does not forsake me for it, but he has shown me in all reality that I too was a vile pit of nature and vipers and evil things. I was a wasteland in need of his waters. I brought forth a message of witness. What I have seen I will testify to, for I have seen the truth. Do not magnify ourselves in his presence, but magnify him. Exalt the King above all nations. Claim to his authority. Admit with your own mouth that Jesus Christ is the King that he said he was. For today he is still the same person that he was yesterday. My King is alive. He came forth as a man who could not even be defeated by what held us back, which was that of death, the weapon that was used against us in all time. Prior to Jesus Christ coming, we thought death was the finality. We were afraid, and so any who came with a sword came with the grave. But I tell you what my King told you: those who live by the sword will too die by the sword. For it is the nature of evil, the nature of the kingdom of the wicked one, the kingdom of darkness, that will die by the kingdom of darkness. Is it not a great mercy for my Lord to burn it, and all who wish to dwell within it? I know that my Father is alive, and he is well. Not only is he well, he is the wellspring. He is the vine dresser, and I am the vine. For my Lord is the vine, and he is alive in me. For all that he has shown me the truth, that none of us are saved, lest we be grafted into the kingdom, lest we be grafted into the olive tree. But we must not see each other as less or more. We must not go by our own understandings of good and evil, or by a law decreed by man or for man, but by the law of Jesus Christ. For whatever Jesus Christ tells us, we must keep in commandment, for then we can live in the structure of his law, at the core of his integrity, and so we can live forever. I do not wish to depart from my King. I wish to live in part of my King. I call Jesus Christ into my heart because I require him. I need his salvation. All I can do is go to him, a babe, bald and naked, in distress, in prayer, in hopeful gratitude that I too will be saved. Oh, brother. I see you as a valuable part of his garden, as a flower that sprang forth. He has counted the hairs on your head, as he has sanctioned all flowers to grow, each petal by number. I see you, how he sees you. He is the gracious host. He is the Lord who forgives debts. But we cannot beat each other. We cannot hate each other. We cannot know each other and then say you are a vile creation. For my Father wishes for not even the wicked to perish. My Father wishes for the wicked to prosper and to turn from their wicked ways. How good can a Lord be, but to look at his enemy and say, I have died for you too? What great love. How can we not know this? How can we not know him? I wish I knew what you were saying. I am here for any who will hear me, understand or not. If I could only see your face, you would see the truth within my own eyes. But at this point, at least you can hear the truth within my voice, to know that whatever I'm saying, I am saying it because I know it. I am not here to play a game, but I am here to reach you, who dwell within a prison of the enemy's design, to tell you that the Lord is at hand, that the kingdom of heaven is upon you, and that we must know him. We must return to the grace of our King. We must return home. We need to be free, to be saved, to be known by our God, so as we are not told to depart, so as we are not called by the name of the lawless one. I wish to embrace my King. I wish to inherit the kingdom, as was promised, to you and me. Whatever your sin is, lay it down at his feet, and he will burn it away. He will cleanse you and make you what you were supposed to be all along. Call upon his name, not by choice or errand, but by decree, by command. Humble yourself before his feet and know that none of what you have done is your burden to carry anymore. The Lord that I have met is beauty. He is love, he is right, and he is righteous. He is cleansed and he is clean, and he is the only one who can save us. We are unholy at birth, and in our hearts, we cannot be saved by ourselves. We need his righteous hand. Lord, I can only do what you give me to do, and I can only speak the words you have given me to speak. But I look and I know that you are with me. I know that you see me and I see you, and my love for you cannot be contained within this clay vessel that you have crafted any longer. It has spilled over. My cup has known no other thing but the flood of your love. The waters that you have poured in me has run so high that it must run into another cup. But I see no cups, Lord, only wolves, only a wasteland, barren, desolate, and in its way I must recede. I have given no choice but to violence, because these wolves come for me. Truly I say, if you are being chased by wolves and marked by the territory of demons, know the Lord your God has placed you in his heart. It is only in him that we can find safety, that we can be saved, be changed. All he requires from you is you. And everything that you think you know and understand, lay upon his feet, and he will tell you what is true, what is righteous. But I will not be stopped. By the hammer of the Lord I will be pelted into the carpentry of his delight. I will be made anew, as a tool or as part of the structure. I will be made as a tool of mercy, of love, of care, not of grief or violence. Because of his love, I have not merely read, but I have seen. I have not merely spoken, but I have heard. I have known the Lord my God, and he is true. He has not just told the truth, but he has been the truth all along. Since the beginning, since before the foundations of the earth were set, since before the word was spoken, he was there, preparing a place for you and keeping you close to him, letting you know him just enough so you could be sent. He knows what he sends you out to, and he knows he loves you regardless of what your path will be. But that love, and that love alone, sometimes when we decide to deny his love, it's only at the end in judgment that we realize we shouldn't have. And by at that point it's too late. If we would only recognize his love here and now, and accept it here and now, and lay ourselves down at his feet. For how many among us are truly living lives worth living anyway? Is it so much to ask to give away something that you hold no value in yourself? And for those who are prideful in their way, arrogant in their ego, I ask, are you so great? Have you saved us? Are you to save me? Should I bow and worship to you? Because I see no God. in you. Because my God is not pride or arrogant. My God does not fall, but keeps steady the way. My God does not slumber, but he rests. And he awaits you. He wants you to come home. He loves you. He yearns for you. He is literally doing this all for you. And yes, personally you. All of us in the culmination, truly. But for you. His eyes are set upon you. His love and his heart are set upon you. And that will not change. It is only in us that we can decide. Do we receive this? Do we take this and let it change us into who he sees us to be? Because I tell you, brothers and sisters, I am better alive than I ever was dead. I am better with him than I ever was away from him. Though he never left me, I surely did turn from him and try to act like he wasn't there. I would try to pretend in my arrogance and say, no, there's no way. But he was. And he still is. And he has called me to tell you, as he has loved me, I am to love you. I am not here to point fingers at you, but I am also not here with just milk and honey. I have come providing a structure of a meal, a full course that allows you to truly feel the nutrients of supplement. My Lord will nourish you, but you must enter the kingdom as a babe, as a child, gentle and willing to learn, looking up at your Father and looking up to your Father. There is a divine structure, a core reliance that we must intake within us. We should not be just merely reliant on ourselves, but reliant on our natures and love them as ourselves. For in judgment we will face not only the holy God, but a mirror. We will feel what we have done to others. We will know what we have done to others. And if all we have done to others is darkness and evil, then we too will be set upon the unstable foundation of that evil. For I have seen the place of the muck and the mud. I have seen the place of weeping and gnashing of teeth, of a stench so horrendous it will never escape you. I have heard the terror, but I have witnessed the decree of angels. I have heard them worship the Father. I know why they do it. He is the truth. He is the way. He is the light. He is the door. He is life in abundance. Of course there is life beyond the outer reaches of earth. My Father cannot help but give life. He is the God of life. And he lives forever. And so everything he touches lives. But there will come a time where darkness and the seas of darkness must pass away, because there is no life in them. And on that day, I pray that you will be reached, you will be found, you who is wandering helplessly in the wilderness, in the wild, in the wastes, that you will be seen and shown that he was looking for you the whole time, chasing you wildly. He will give you his grace, his love, his kindness, his reward. All you must do is bow and know him. You can go to him a servant, but he will come to you a master. You can go to him a friend, but he will still bear secrets. But if you go to him a child, he will hide nothing from you. He will give all things to you, as one who inherits what is the Father's would. Is there any secret that will not be revealed? Anything done in a private place that will not be seen? No. All things will be known by all of creation. Humble yourself before the Lord, for if you can sin in front of him, have no embarrassment in front of man. For if they judge you, they will be judged as judges. Go by the Lord and find out what he says is good, what he says is evil, and go by that, because he has given the grace of his forgiveness to do these things and forgive you. But if you go by your own goodness and your own wills of evils and say this is good and this is evil, and you do not uphold even your own law, have you given yourself the right of forgiveness? Are you the one who has no blemish? Can you bear the weight of many burdens? No. You cannot bear his stripes. You cannot mar his markings. You are not capable of forgiving yourself in that way. So do not require of yourself. Inquire of the Lord in his many riches. For it is the rich man of the earth who looks and bows his head in sadness and walks away from the kingdom. But it is of the meek, the prostitutes, and the drunkards who receive the kingdom before even the Pharisees. March in righteousness. Look upon this world of vile natures and aptitudes and appetites, and see that there is a moment of a calling, that you can be greater, that you can be more, that you can achieve. All you must do is not seek those very things, but seek the Lord in his face, and he will bring to you a path of righteousness, a path of historical debut, a path of goodness and cleaning. I loved you before the very foundations of the earth. Before the womb of your mother knew you, I loved you. This is my God. This is who I follow. And I beg you, call on him. Seek him. Throw away the knowledge of man and what they try to tell you and what you think you believe, because you only believe it because another man told you. So why should you not believe what God has told you? Do not take his word and then blemish it with the blood from the hands of man, but put on the blood of the Son of Man who came for you. Do not call my Father a liar because man lied about him. Do not take my Father's word and put it and misconstrue it and conflate it with the words of man and the understandings of man. Seek him and you will find. Knock until he answers, because he will. Find him. Please. I'm begging you. I am groveling in the dirt, hoping that you find the King I know. For I have met him, and every man is a liar. Everyone, including myself, because I cannot fully tell you the truth that I have seen. I cannot give you the fullness of my life and my experience with the Lord my God. So I too, in this, am a liar, because I am not giving you the full glory of him. Because I cannot experience it in this state. I cannot fully know it in this state. The true love of my God is beyond even my ability to explain it. And so still, too, I am a liar, but he is there. I cannot grasp what I've come to see, but I can grasp that my Father is not a liar. I can grasp that he told the truth. I pray that in these end times, in these end days, whether it be tomorrow, today, or 1,000 years from now, whenever he does come to judge, I pray that you find your way back to him. He promised, and he will not break his promise. He will receive you. Lay your sin, your burden, and all of your cares at his feet. Do not listen to man who says to condemn you, but listen to God who says, I do not condemn you. For there are truths, and you will have to turn from our wicked nature. We have all had to. I have sat uncomfortable reading the word of my Father, but I knew I must change. For it is not my own law that I seek, but his. It is not my definition of goodness that brings forth fruit, but his. I am not the one who can bring many fields of many beauties, of many colors, of many flowers. I am just a person who by my own definitions of good and evil will die. Help me. Help me look upon you and see that you received his grace so I can have a moment of rejoice, so I can bear a smile on my face and tears in my eyes that were brought upon me, not in pain, but in health and curing. Are my words just babble to an NPC? Am I not met by my brothers and sisters' ears? It is the Lord's ears who I should beg to hearken to me, but it is your ears I am coming for to beg. I want to see him glorified in your life, because if you only knew what that really meant, what lies wait for you at just the edge of that doorway, if you knew that the narrow path, though dangerous and treacherous, what lies within it, if you knew and understood the gospel of Jesus Christ, you would receive the kingdom of heaven now, as I have, and it would come upon you with great mercies and great restraint. But without Jesus Christ, I promise, you will fall. You will see many stumbling blocks. Your ego, your structure, your pride will all be played to. You will be tested every step of the way. But until you know where to focus, then you shouldn't even go. But if you keep your eyes on the light of the world, you will never be lost. If you call upon his name, you will never be lost. He has many names. Go and learn them. For his names were only given because of his action. They call him Jehovah Jireh because the Lord will provide. They call him Yahweh because I am and he is. He is the Lord that lives in you, but he is also above you. Let's not let our arrogance and pride and our ego show anything. We are all under him because we are not fully him, but we are all fully a part of him. Know my Father as every molecule, every individual reverberation of the vibrating neurons in your head. Know that my Father has given you guidance, but so is the enemy. Know that the Lord your God will be victorious. And even if I don't reach you, it is his victory and not mine. I do not need to succeed. I just need to count on the fact that he will. I do not need to reach you. I just need to have faith and rely on the one who will. I wish I could have helped you today. I wish I could have told you of the love I bear in me today. Thank you. In Jesus' name, I worship and I praise the Heavenly Father. Amen.